Hey there, Dr. Hashimoto again. Now we're going to be going over the exercise that you can do at home to improve your spinal stenosis. So we can make this a little complicated, but I always like to make things very simple. Essentially what we need to do is we need to strengthen the core to kind of help keep the spine in a neutral position, and we got to reduce the amount of extension, the back bending that you have right here. The reason why we do that is spinal stenosis, again, is this area around the spinal cord getting smaller, and one of the things that you can do at home is controlling that extension. So some of the things that we're going to be doing right here is a hip flexor stretch. So again, a number of my patients are going to have bad knees when they have spinal stenosis, so you could go up like this and you're going to lean into this. So I like to do this with like a sturdy chair or something like that. You can do that in a kneeling position, but it's going to be like this, stepping up, staying nice and tall, and just kind of leaning into it. And you should be getting a really, really good stretch here on your hip flexor, and that's what we're going to be doing right here. You could do another exercise, which is a knee to chest. Again, we're stretching those extensors and putting you into a little bit of flexion. That's going to be a very easy exercise. For some of you that don't have really bad knees and hips, you may be able to kneel and do a child's pose position. So this is a great exercise for someone like me, but for some of you with artificial knees and hips and arthritic hips and knees, this may be a little bit uncomfortable. And something that's overlooked a lot is a thoracic mobility thing. If you look online, they're always going to talk about your lower core, but they're never going to be talking about your thoracic mobility. So this area between your shoulder blades essentially and down here to your low back, it gets tight because we always sit at the computer, read books, and do things like that. So when this area is rigid, which it is on most people, you don't get that much extension. So now you're going to try and pick up that extra motion in your back. So what we do is we do a thoracic mobility exercise, which is pretty simple right here. So you could take a pillow if you have a bad neck as well. You're going to lay down like this, and a big key right here is you're going to have your knees in flexion. If you don't have your knees in flexion, they're down here like this when you're doing the exercise. You don't lock out your low back and you don't move your mid back. So it's right here, head down here, gently, just rotating all the way back like this. And for any of you that are golfers, this is going to actually help your golf game because it's going to give you a better turn. Just like that. So again, I got knees in flexion right over here, hand down here, we're just rotating. And then if you want to see what that looks like on the other side, I'm just like this and rotating back like that. And the exercise just feels good right there. So now we've been working on some of that flexibility. Now we also have to be working on the core strength. Now I know I'm going through this pretty quickly, but if you do these, I promise you it's going to work really well. So the other exercise I like is the cat-cow. So the cat-cow is going to strengthen the muscles that help bring your spine into neutral or flexion. So essentially what you do is you go into a cow position, you're looking up because we might as well work on that neck, and then you go up into a cat position. We're rounding this area right here, and then we're going down like a cow. So breathing in and breathing out. And what this exercise does is it works on mobility here in the spine, but it also works on the coordination between the glutes and the abdominals. Then the next exercise that we're going to do is we're going to be doing something called the pelvic tilt. This is a little harder for you to see, but Sebastian's going to help us see with the camera. So there's this spot in the low back right here, and I'm essentially pushing my belly into the floor. So it's a little harder to imagine, but if you put your hand back here and you just try to crush that, you're going to feel your abdominal muscles firing right here. Now another way that I'll describe this exercise to patients is you're just taking this part of your ribs, your xiphoid over here, and bringing it together with your pubic symphysis, and you're just bringing those together. But essentially you're flattening the back right here, and that's going to work the lower abdominals. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more advanced and that is too easy for you, you can keep this flat and you could lower down. Sorry, my microphone is getting caught in the way. You're going to lower the leg down, but don't let it touch the ground. Okay, and you're going to bring this up, and you're going to do the same thing with the other one. Okay, you're going to just go back and forth, and you could do that 10 times each leg. The key is slow and controlled. Now, if you're watching this and you think that's easy, and you think that, you know, I'm an in-shape grandma, I could do that. And if you want to hot dog it, you want to go into this position, which is a dead bug position. They call it the dead bug is because that's what a dead bug looks like. Legs are here at 90 degrees, back is flat, hands are up right here, and then you're gonna lower down one leg and one arm, and it's not gonna touch. Then you're gonna bring it back up, and then you're gonna bring it back down, and you're gonna just keep doing this nice and easy for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then this is gonna work the coordination, and it's also going to work your lower abdominals. If you do that, that's gonna be a heck of a lot better than doing a crunch or a twist. And then another exercise that I love a lot is gonna be the bridge. So the bridge is essentially this. You're going up and going down. Now, if you get a cramp in your hamstring right here, the workaround for that is to push out of your heels and to lift up. And the reason why some people are going to cramp here in their hamstring is that they're trying to lift their hips and pelvis up in the air with their hamstrings and not their glutes. So by pushing out of your heels, you could really get those glutes to fire. It's a fancy word called reciprocal inhibition. I don't really need to teach you why that works. You could just do that. And ideally, you're going to go up and down. So now with the core, we've worked the glutes, we've worked the abs, and that's going to keep the spine in a neutral or slightly flexed position. And we stretched out basically the muscles that pull it into extension right here. Now, if you're sitting there and you're watching this and you look and you say, hey, Dr. Hash, these are easy. I am in really good shape. And you're like, great. Well, you could just jump into the plank right here. So we could go right here, just like this. And essentially, we're not letting it sag down too much. We're not getting the butt up in the air. We're going to be in a relatively neutral position. You're just going to hang out here for as long as you can. And then if you could go a minute, good for you. If you go 2, 3, 4, you're doing great. You just hang out here, and that's it. So if you do those exercises at home, it will reduce the amount of extension that you have in your spine, and it will actually help align your spine and make a little bit more space around that spinal cord, which should hopefully reduce some of your spinal stenosis symptoms. We do a lot more than that in the practice, but these are things that you could do at home. Take care, do them at home. Obviously, if you have any pain, you need to consult your physician about it to get advice to make sure you're not hurting yourself. This is Dr. H signing off, and if you have any questions, you could click below and get a hold of us in the office.